Namaskar to everybody. It is a very pleasurable thing to address the students of archaeology, students and people who are interested in archaeology. And especially it's really a great pleasure to have Patil sir in the audience because he has been a great mentor to me in my endeavor of these research and other publications, and he has always encouraged me. So therefore, this is also a very pleasurable thing. I will very shortly introduce Begur as it was, then a little introduction into Ganga architecture, and then I will enter into the subject of how this architecture can be gleaned to the canonical prescriptions which are found in our Vastu Shastra Granthas. So, Begur, when I first visited in 1998, was actually an agriculture village in the outskirts of Bangalore. Today, at least personally, I feel it's unfortunate that it has lost its original form in the name of urbanization, and the temple has been entirely encompassed by some new constructions and buildings in and around. So therefore, when I visited Begur for the first time, we could have the view of the temple almost from a distance of half a kilometer. So that was the view, completely surrounded by greenery, and there would be a lake in front of the temple, and all these things were very much, the ambience was very, very archaic, and the temples also had their original glory. But today we see, there are disproportionate structures built, even attached to the temple as well as surrounding the temple. However, we have to accept it as it is the norm of the day. So these Begur temples, there are actually a group of 5 temples, and they are almost contemporary in their construction. Maybe a difference of few decades may be observed, but otherwise they are very contemporary. So coming to the builders of the Begur temple, the Nageshwara temple was built by Ganga, and there is the Ganga period, and there is a inscription which talks about the foundation of the temple, and Nagattara was the person behind the construction of the temple, and that is why it is named as Nageshwara. And there is a Choleshwara temple adjacent to it, which almost seems to be like a twin temple. And Choleshwara temple must have been built a few decades after the construction of the Nageshwara temple, while the Cholas had invaded the southern part of modern Karnataka. And the name is Choleshwara, but if you see the architecture, it resembles the Nageshwara temple very much. And other thing which you have to understand here is, though the patrons were Cholas, or the governors of Cholas were here, the sculptors who would have worked on the temple must have been the local sculptors who were very much acquainted with the Ganga style of architecture. And apart from these 2 temples, the other 3 temples, that is Nagareshwara, Kalikamateshwara, which is pronounced as Kali Kamateshwara in these days, and there is one Ramalingeshwara. All these temples have lost their original form. Kalikamateshwara temple is a Ekatala Vimana temple which is very small, but Nagareshwara temple, except for its Mukhamantapa and the Adhisthana, the rest of the outer wall of the Vimana is totally disappeared. It's the same with Ramalingeshwara temple also, that the entire structure is lost. So there are some modern walls built for the temple. So here we will mainly concentrate upon the Nageshwara and Choleshwara temples. Now, the Ganga temples usually, it is something very commendable that though Gangas and Nalambas were contemporaries, they were actually vassal rulers. Their rule, their independent rule probably would have been for a very insignificant period. But still, they managed to bring out a style of their own which is identified with their dynasty. And this style, that doesn't mean that they completely innovated some style or something, but this was actually, the structures were built based on the Vastu Shastra Granthas like Mayamata, Kashyap Shilpa, and there are various other agamas also like Kamika Agama and all those things. To understand the evidences for what the definitions we get in Mayamata, studying Ganga temples, some Chola temples, Badami Chalukyan temples, they help us a lot. Especially when it comes to the Ganga temples and the Chola temples, we can rely upon them as structural evidences for Mayamata itself. So here we see that to briefly understand about the Vastu Shastra Granthas, when we observe the structures of Badami Chalukyas or slightly earlier structures, we can know that they surely followed some text in their construction, because though we have, at least in our archaeological background, there have been many scholars who have studied temple architecture, the entire Indian architecture. Then they divide it into, like various styles based on dynasties, geographically, and all those things. The divisions are made. But one limitation which I have always observed in the early archaeological scholars or the the Western scholars who have studied is, they limited themselves for the engineering technology or the construction methodology of those temples, than concentrating on the indigenous sources which mention about how a temple is built, what are its adjuncts. So how do you identify a architectural adjunct of a temple? So they have names. So how did they get these names? All these things were probably not taken into consideration. So on this basis, what happens if we read works of Percy Brown or Henry Cousins or any such people who have contributed? Of course, their contribution is really very much unparalleled when we think about their conjectural restorations, plans, and other things. But what happens when they identify the organs of the temple? It is more like they try to identify this with the Greco-Roman architecture, like calling the Kumuda as a Taurus molding, or calling some pillar with its decorations as a Ali pillar or something. There is some the clarity is not much when they are describing the temples. But we observe that by the late 90s, there were some Indian scholars who started identifying these temples with our scriptures. So when this started, we now can have an idea of what was the concept of building temple, what are the adjuncts called, why are they called so. All these things could be very much understood. So during my doctoral research, this was one of the core concepts where I could cull out information from Vastu Granthas and Agamas and try to identify them with the structural evidences of various temples. So at that time it was restricted to Salem region, but now as a researcher and freelancing, I have extended it to other jurisdictions also.